Courtney and Will in this last episode. So Courtney gets dropped off by her friend that's toothless and ruthless. I can't remember her name. Then suddenly she gets a phone call from Will, and she actually answers this phone call. She's been ignoring all his other phone calls for days. She answers the call, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know I went and saw a divorce attorney. And she's shocked, which I don't understand why she is so shocked, because like Will has been saying, she has not been acting like a wife. She's been ignoring him. She only hits him up when she needs something. At this point, she's treating Will more like a sugar daddy versus an actual husband. I think Will thought all those threats of him wanting to get a divorce would finally make Courtney realize, okay, I need to get it together before he actually follows through. And I think she did not think that he was actually going to follow through with the divorce. I think she thought that he was just a simp, a sucker. He was going to put up with whatever. But Will's over it. It sounds like he's ready to get divorced and move on and find somebody else that could possibly be wife potential. So he told Courtney that he needs to come see her and get her to sign the divorce papers. And she said she's refusing to sign the divorce papers. And this is exactly what the divorce lawyer told him not to do. He's like, you need to get the ball rolling on this divorce, start it before she finds out and tries to run off on you. And here is Will warning her about this divorce where she can easily do that. And then she's like, well, I'm worried about you lying to me. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I found out the ring you gave me was fake. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I went online. I paid $10,000. He says he doesn't have a certificate for it, which I don't know. I'm kind of side-eyeing that, because why would you sit there and spend $10,000 on a ring online that you have like no proof that this is actually real? Or anything on. Like, that is a lot of money. Like, I could see maybe spending like $500, $1,000 or something if you get like a good deal. But 10 racks on a ring, then you don't even know for sure? Yeah, that's weird. But hey, I ain't mad at it, because we know if that ring was real, she would have sold it in a heartbeat, just like she was trying to do. And she's getting mad at Will because he wants to start a divorce. But it's like, woman, you were just trying to sell his ring. Like, if you had a chance and it was actually real, you would have already sold that thing. So I don't know what you're talking about, that you still want to hold on to this marriage, because all your actions are showing something completely different than what your words are saying. So Will was like, I don't know what you're talking about. The ring is real. And then Courtney got annoyed with him and hung up on him. Next thing you know, Will jumps in his car, drives down to Courtney, and he shows up at this house she's living at, and he says that he has her own location data, which tells me that she probably wasn't sharing her location with Will. Like, since he's into IT and stuff, he was probably able to figure out some kind of interesting way to figure out where she's at. And that's why Courtney was completely thrown off when he pulls up at the house, starts beating on the door. She opens the door, and she could not believe it when she saw Will's face. She said that she did not want to see him, which is another thing that does not make sense for Courtney. Why do you want to stay married to someone that you don't even want to see? You hardly even want to talk to them on the phone. So Will, he starts popping off and yelling. And I will say, the one complaint I do have about Will is he is always yelling when he talks to Courtney. I mean, he did talk to her kind of calmly on the phone. But like Courtney said, it's hard to actually have like a mature conversation when you're sitting there screaming and attacking someone. But I can understand at the same time that he's hurt. So he's letting that hurt come out in different ways, like anger, because of everything Courtney has put him through. Plus, if I was Courtney, I would be losing it, because I would be like, damn, I just moved into this house after getting kicked out of that other house. Please don't mess up this house for me. Because if that was her roommate, I would be looking at her sideways like, damn, you're bringing this kind of drama to my front porch where you got this guy yelling and screaming for all the neighbors to hear. But, I mean, Courtney did bring this on herself. So Will handed her the divorce papers and asked her to sign them, and she just ripped them up into a million pieces, which doesn't shock me. She said that she knows she's being petty, and I just feel like she just needs to go ahead and sign them. Like right now, Will sounds like he's willing to pay for everything, cover all the divorce. As long as she just signs the papers, then you think she would want to get the ball rolling so she could try to see if there's a potential for her to get some kind of alimony, even though the lawyer said it's not likely. She doesn't know that, so you think she'd be like, oh, okay, well, if Will's not going to give me money when we're together, maybe there's a way we can get it now that I'm getting divorced through alimony. But I think Courtney's so convinced that Will is going to eventually come back around that she does not want to sign the divorce papers yet, which doesn't make any sense to me because it doesn't seem like she wants to have an active marriage with him, but she doesn't want to start the divorce. She says she's got a million other things to worry about. And Will was like, don't worry, I got multiples. You can litter in front of your front yard all you want. And then he told Courtney, I don't know why you won't sign the divorce papers, because you don't want to be a wife. And Courtney said, look, I don't know how to be a wife. Courtney is very manipulative, because I'm not going to lie, I started to feel bad for her for a second when she's like, oh, I've never known how to communicate. I've never known how to have a good relationship and be a good partner. So you can't be mad at me that I don't come out of prison being like this off the jump. But the thing was, she did seem fine at first, but once Will and her had distance between each other and Will wasn't there to give her money every single day, that's when she switched up and did a 180. And that's dangerous because, like, Will gave her like $300 as soon as she got out of prison, and within days she was begging him for more. And I just feel like even if she was married to him and like they were living together, the moment he would say no to her about giving her money, I feel like she'd run out and just go find another sugar daddy. Even if they weren't having issues, I feel like that's just the type of person Courtney is. And Will was like, but you still decided to be a wife. So when you decided, you should have been willing to make changes and work on things. And he asked her, who the hell have you been sleeping with? I'm not no idiot. And then Courtney said, what? And she got all mad and acted surprised when we know that Courtney's probably hooked up with half the town by now. Courtney's just not ready to settle down and get married. She's like 24, 25. I think she's still young and she wants to take advantage of the sugar daddy she has as much as possible until she's willing to leave that behind. No matter how much money is being offered to her, she's not going to be ready for a real relationship. Like, she's in a relationship with some other guy now, and I'm still questioning, like, are the sugar daddies still around? Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall and hear what he has to say about watching these episodes about Courtney. But yeah, so she is not gonna sign the divorce papers, and I think Will just needs to go ahead and start the divorce by publication process. That's what Angela did from 90 Day Fiance when she couldn't get in touch with Michael. Like, all you have to do is find your local newspaper, print in the local newspaper that so-and-so is filing for divorce from, like, he just needs to say Will is filing for divorce from Courtney or something like that. And then they have like 30 days for the person that they're trying to get the divorce from to respond. If they don't respond in that 30 days, then they just go ahead and move forward with the whole divorce process. Like, Will didn't even have to drive all the way down there to see Courtney to get her to sign the divorce papers.